So now that I've hopefully convinced you online dating is something you should be doing, the next obvious question would be, what site should I be on? And there are a lot of choices. There's Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Match.com, OkCupid, there's niche sites, JDate, Farmers Only, there's even sugar daddy sites. There's all kinds of things that you could be potentially considering. Which site do you want to be on? Well, I'm going to hopefully help you out in this video with deciding what site or sites are right for you. And that first plural on the sites is your first key, because the fact of the matter is you don't have to pick. It's not like you sign some kind of contract with one site and say, I will only do my online dating on this site. You can absolutely be on multiple sites. You can absolutely be on every site. Most of them have a free option. Now, if you are paying for memberships on the various sites, you may want to limit it to a few of the best just for financial reasons. But the point is you do not have to be exclusive. There's nothing to say you can't get some of your dates from one site and some of your dates from another site. There's nothing to say you can't benefit from some of the features of one site while simultaneously benefiting from features on another site. So let me first by explaining what the absolutely ideal site would look like. Here's how it would work. Number one, every girl would be on it. And especially all the hot ones. In fact, not even every girl would be on it. All the hot girls would be on it and the unhot girls would not. That would be ideal. But for practical reasons, all the hot girls are on it. That's about all you can really ask for. All right, you want a lot of girls on it, and you want specifically that it doesn't turn off the hottest girls. Because there are some sites, the way they're designed, that will actually cater to hotter girls or less hot girls, depending how they make things work. So number one, you want girls there. Number two, you want ability to message a lot of them. So if the site restricts how many matches you can get or doesn't let you messages freely, all those kind of things, that's actually less good. In fact, if a site would allow you to message the girls without matching with them first, for someone who is good at online game, which I'm going to teach you to be, that's actually a huge advantage and actually would be what you ideally would want. Now, sadly, most sites are not that way anymore. It used to be that was the case. It used to be a decade ago that almost every online dating site, you could just message girls without swiping and matching with them. Now, because of the swiping and matching algorithm, that's no longer the case on most sites. And actually, ironically, that's actually why those sites have hotter girls. So think of it this way, right? If the girl gets on the site and every guy in the world can message her, that's annoying to her. That decreases her experience with the site. It makes it a worse experience for her, makes it more annoying. And so she gets off the site. And so now that site doesn't have as many hot girls on it. Whereas when you have to actually match with the guy before he can message you, now the girl's inbox is not being flooded with emails from guys she doesn't like. And so now she stays on the site longer. And so ironically, those two factors work against each other. On the one hand, you want the hottest girls on the site. On the other hand, you would like to be able to message them directly. But these are two factors that you want to consider when you are evaluating a site. And in a perfect world, if it could happen, the perfect site would simultaneously have both of those. The next thing that would be ideal on a perfect dating site for men would be that the women on the site had to pay for a subscription the same way as men did, or just in general, they had to pay for a subscription. The more invested the girl is in being in the site, the more likely and easier it is to go from match to date. So if it's a site where the girl signs up for free, doesn't create any bio whatsoever, posts one photo of her and she's good to go, that girl's not as bought in or like as committed to dating because she hasn't invested as much, right? Whereas if a girl has to pay for a membership on the site, put up multiple photos and write a long bio, you know that girl's more bought in and more ready for a date. Now again, this is contradictory to having hotter girls on the site to some degree, because hotter girls tend to put in less effort and tend to be less likely to go through that hurdle. So again, one factor that makes the site really good also might in the long run make the site not work as well. But again, if you could, you would like more investment from the girls, longer bios, better profiles, that kind of stuff. Final element of your ideal online dating site would be that your profile should be visible or viewable to all girls. And ideally, in a perfect world, your profile is being shown to all girls. Now, in practice, this doesn't make sense because you can't have every guy's profile shown to every girl. It doesn't work like that. But the closer you can get to your personal profile being shown to every girl, the better the site would be. And why does this matter? Well, there might be certain factors that restrict the viewing of your profile. So let's say that you're a guy who's only average in terms of physical appearance, but you're really charming, really good at writing, really good at flirting. Well, you would like to be able to have your profile viewed without having it be swiped on. On the other hand, let's say that you are a very good looking guy, you're like a professional model, but you're not so good with game yet. You haven't learned, how to flirt. You're going to learn in this course, but you haven't learned that yet. Well, you'd actually be more viewed on a site where the bio is less important, there's less written in the bio, and it's more based on your physical appearance. Let's say, for example, that you're an older guy who looks younger, and you think that the algorithm and or girls might weed you out based on age, but there's a certain site that allows you to sign up and not even report your age to the site. Well, in that case, you can go based on your appearance and not your age, and you may be shown to more matches. So the point is, whatever site's rules allow you to be seen the best, that's going to be the better site for you. And a quick asterisk or caveat on all this is a lot of this can be solved through paying a little bit for memberships on the sites, which we'll get to in another lesson, another module. But again, that perfect dating site for you would be the site where you get shown to as many women as possible based on your own particular parameters, based on what your selling points are. So I'll end this video with a quick recommendation of specific sites. This is probably the part you were really looking for and hoping for when you first clicked on this video. You're like, hey, well, Todd, just tell me what sites to get on. The reason I didn't do that right up front is that it actually does depend on you. It's not the same for everybody. And also I want you to understand this because dating sites change. Just because right now I recommend these dating sites doesn't mean a year from now I would still have that recommendation. I don't want you to be, a year from now thinking, oh, well, Todd recommended this site, it must still be good. I want you to be able to think for yourself and figure out what's the currently good site, because I want this course to last you your lifetime. I don't want it to just be good for the next 6 months, okay? But that being said, my personal recommendations for online dating sites are this. Probably currently the best dating site, if you're US based and in a relatively big city, or probably even in a small city, but definitely in a big city, is Hinge. That's my favorite site for the US. I think it has a very high quality of girls. I think it has a very good structure for allowing the messaging to facilitate. And I think it's actually pretty man-friendly in its algorithm as compared to some other sites. For Europe, the best site currently appears to be Tinder. That's what my European clients tell me and what I've seen when I'm over there. So that appears to still be the biggest and best site over there. And really it's the best because it's the biggest. It just has the most people on it. And that's such an overwhelming factor that makes it win. However, I would say that Hinge and Bumble type sites are catching up, and that may change as we go forward. As another shout for up there with those sites, Bumble's a pretty good site. You do see a different demographic of girl on that site. You do tend to see more politically correct girls and more girls who lean towards, you could say feminism, or lean towards like being very, very liberated women, that kind of thing. So if you prefer that, obviously that's a reason to go on that site. If you prefer that less, it's maybe a reason not to be on that site. But the girls there are largely attractive and largely educated. And there's a lot to be said for the girls that are on that site. And you would think in theory the fact that girls have to message you first is a benefit, but in practice I find it's actually not, because it means that you actually can't message a lot of your matches, like they match with you and then you don't get to message them. Whereas on another site, you would have had the opportunity to message them and convey some personality before getting unmatched. And also them messaging you first, while you'd think that puts like the frame in your court, or it makes it easier to message them, usually they just message hi. And so you have to effectively write the first message anyway. But it's in there with a shout just because it does have attractive girls on it. The other site I would say is a general site for everybody. This would have been my number one recommended site, or number one or number two a decade ago. It would have been Match.com and OkCupid would have been my recommendations. Those sites I still do vaguely recommend, especially Match.com, for the specific reason of being able to message the girls without matching them. Okay, messaging the girls without matching them is a huge asset that Match.com has. Because you don't have to deal with the swiping. So you can be a lot more efficient about getting to the messaging. And also, if again, you're not as physically attractive as you are good at messaging and flirting and dating, you can actually get into the girl's inbox without having the filter of physical appearance as your first filter. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about your photos. We'll talk about enhancing your physical appearance in future modules. But for now, I just want you to understand that is an asset as well. As far as the niche sites, I would say if you particularly like that niche, by all means consider it. Like if you specifically want a Jewish girl, by all means go on JDate. If you specifically want a Christian girl, go on Christian Mingle. If you specifically want a sugar daddy relationship, go on a sugar daddy site. By all means, I don't have a problem with that, etc. And there even are some guys who do go on, like, for example, a sugar daddy site and get non-sugar daddy type things, but it is a hassle and it's a whole different, it's actually a completely different approach to game. So the niche sites can be useful if you actually like that niche and are willing to deal with that niche. But as far as general sites, Hinge is probably the best most places in the US. Tinder is just the default for Europe, and it used to be one of the best for the US. I'm liking it less and less, but it's still very useful. Bumble's in there with a shout, Match.com's in there with a shout. And then the best answer is honestly, try them. Try them, see the girls you meet, see where you do best, and the best dating site for you is the dating site that works best for you, not the one I recommend. So I'm giving you general criteria, I'm giving you ideas, I'm giving you even recommendations, but end of the day, the best answer is test it for yourself. You don't have to be exclusive to one site. And if one site's working for you, even if it's not one I recommended, go on it. And if you happen to find a hidden gem, great. If you happen to find that one amazing dating site that nobody else is on yet, that's incredible and has all hot girls, keep that secret under wraps, date a lot of girls, enjoy. But yeah, those are my recommendations. And also that's my criteria for what is the best site.